Welcome back to Teshkid FX for another price prediction update, and in this video I'll be giving you a price prediction update on Polygon Matic, whose current price stands at the $0.8124 mark, and here on TradingView the market is up by 0.32%. And in this video I want to give you the key scenarios that I expect to play out basing my analysis on the Elliot waves and the Fibonacci's, and also the key areas of support and resistances, and also draw out the key chart patterns that you have information on this chart. And I'll kickstart the video by giving a brief of what has been happening on these charts. Polygon Matic from the all-time high has been seeing lower prices in this massive ABC corrective movement, which has now taken us back to around the $0.32 mark, and having done so I believe it has done the minimum that we expected it to do in its ABC corrective movement, and soon we might see a very nice bounce to the upper side following this Elliot wave structure, having a wave 5 taking us back to an all-time high. But before we get to an all-time high, we first need to see a first wave to the upper side, and I believe that is what is playing out here on the Polygon Matic chart. And within a first wave to the upper side, we also expect to see fractal waves in formation within that first wave to the upper side, and I believe that is what we are seeing here on the 4-hour chart. Here on the 4-hour chart you can see I have this fractal wave that is an Elliot wave structure within this wave 1 to the upper side, where right now we are in the formation of a wave 5 to the upper side. And I believe once we complete the formation of that fifth wave to the upper side, that will be completing a higher Elliot wave count 1. And getting a little bit into the details of the formation of this fractal wave so that it can also give us the key scenarios that we expect to play out. After making our low down there, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side, made a high for that first wave, then saw a very nice retracement to the lower side in the formation of our wave 2. Then we continued pushing higher in the formation of our wave 3, making our high at around the $1.06 mark. And after making the high for that wave 3, whatever we expected next was the formation of a fourth wave to the lower side. And because a fourth wave is a retracement of the third wave, we can use the Fibonacci's to get a minimum target area to the lower side in that retracement in the formation of a wave 4, and I just need to use the Fibonacci's, connecting them from the low of the wave 3 to the high of that wave 3, and that gives me a minimum retracement area between the Fib level 0.382 and the Fib level 0.618. And removing the Fibonacci's, you can see that my target area lies between the $0.81 mark and the $0.67 mark, and you can see Polygon Matic respected that movement to the lower side and retraced into that target area, making our low for that fourth wave at around the $0.69 mark. And within a wave 4, which is a corrective wave, I also expected to see an ABC corrective movement, and I believe we are also seeing that movement right here, having this as the wave A, then a wave B making our high at around the $0.94 mark. Then we continued pushing lower and made our low at around the $0.69 mark in the formation of our wave C. Having seen the formation of that wave C to the lower side, I believe we have completed the formation of that fourth wave to the lower side, and whatever we are seeing right now in formation, this is what is forming our wave 5 to the upper side. And because our wave 5 is an impulsive wave, I also expect to see fractal waves in formation within that fifth wave to the upper side. And before I get to the key scenarios that I expect to play out using the Elliot waves, it's good that I start with the key chart patterns that we have information right here. And you can see within this movement right here, we had been trading within this channel. We managed to break out of the channel to the upper side in this movement right here, and as we are trying to have a retest, you can see we have managed to get back into the channel, meaning that the retest was not a success, and there's a possibility that we might continue pushing lower within the channel once more, lose that key area of support at around the $0.78 mark. It can also give us support and see a very nice bounce to the upper side and continue pushing higher. Within this movement we also have another channel which is in formation right now, and if I draw it out, we can have it right here, having that as the upper side of the channel, then the lower side of the channel is right there, and you can see this is an ascending channel. And there's a possibility that now that you have continued to respect this channel also, there's a possibility that we might continue pushing to the lower side of the channel, maybe get back to the lower side of the channel at around the $0.74 mark, and maybe find support and see a very nice bounce to the upper side. And in case by any chance we manage to break out of the channel to the lower side and continue pushing lower, there's a possibility that Matic might make a new low, and that would mean the low that we have at around the $0.69 mark maybe it's not the low for that fourth wave to the lower side, and maybe we might be able to make a new low within this target area that I have I have drawn out here on this chart. And once that happens, we can see a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of that fifth wave to the upper side. Getting back to the key scenarios that I expect to play out, basing it on the Elliot waves, a fifth wave is an impulsive wave, and we also expect to see fractal waves in formation within that fifth wave to the upper side. And within this movement right here, we can term this movement to the upper side as an Elliot wave structure, having this as the wave 1. Wave 1, we have it right there. Then we have seen the formation of a wave 2. Then whatever we had been seeing over here, this is what is forming a third wave to the upper side. Then I would expect a fourth wave and then a fifth wave to complete that higher Elliot wave count 1, which is a fractal wave within that fifth wave to the upper side. And getting to see whether this fractal waves is meeting the minimum requirements according to the Fibonacci's. After making our high for that first wave, we saw a very nice retracement to the lower side in the formation of a wave 2. And if I use the trend-based Fibonacci connecting the low of the wave 1 to the high of that wave 1 to get to see whether this wave 2 has retraced into the minimum target area between the Fib level 0.382 and the Fib level 0.618, you can see we came down into that target area and even overshooted it a little bit and went back to around the Fib level 0.78 Fib level, which perfectly lies at a key area of support at around the $0.73 mark. And we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side because of that support, in a movement that we can term as a third wave to the upper side. And because we have the target areas, we have the highs for that first wave and the lows for the second wave and the first wave, we can sketch out a target area to the upper side in the formation of a third wave using a trend-based Fibonacci. And I just need to connect the trend-based Fib from the low of the wave 1 to the high of that wave 1, then drag the fibs to the low of the wave 2, and that gives me a minimum target area to the upper side in the formation of that third wave at around the $0.98 mark, and that is at around the fib level 1.618. so there's a possibility that continue trading within these channels that I have right here, we might get back to around the $0.78 mark, which is a key area of support, then find support at that key area of support and see a very nice bounce to the upper side, bouncing back into the target area for that third wave to the upper side, and also managed to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.95 mark. And once we see that movement, then we can expect a bit of a retracement in our wave 4 and then our wave 5 to complete that higher Elliot wave count 1. So those are the key movements that I expect to play out, basing it on the Elliot waves and also the key chart patterns that we have information, though there is not yet a clear movement on where Polygon Matic is taking us next, but we need to have in mind that those key possible scenarios can play out anytime, and we need to be keen on that. And I can also sketch out a target area for that higher Elliot wave count 1 using a trend-based Fibonacci, so that we can also have an idea of where Polygon Matic could be finishing that first wave to the upper side. And I just need to use the trend-based Fib, connecting it from the low of the wave 1 to the high of that wave 1, then dragging the Fibs to the high of the wave 3, and that gives me a minimum target area to the upper side at the Fib level 0.618, and that is at around the $1.24 mark. Also taking a look at the indicators to see what movements will be supported here on the RSI. Here on the RSI we are trading at around the 40 mark, meaning we have massive room for us to support any movement to the upper side in the formation of that third wave. Also taking a look at the MACD, on the MACD we have printed a bearish cross, and that would mean lower prices could be coming our way, so there is a possibility of us getting back to around the $0.78 mark, which is a key area of support. And in case we lose that, then we might start sketching out a more bearish movement here on the Polygon Matic chart. So let's be patient and see how that plays out, and I'll keep you updated.